Ah, yes. It seems a very fine day for learning indeed. There's nothing more artful than learning about things you didn't know before, such as useless fandom information. Yes. Ah, yes. It appears I've been joined by a guest, the protege of Fromage himself, Mr. CheeseMasta.
Ah, it's wonderful to be here indeed, Ted, my bestest of friends.
Yes, we're very good friends, and now we're going to subject each other to the Warhammer 40k.
A subject that I, in particular, have quite knowledgeable expertise on.
That's very sad, Mr. Master. Hello viewers, and welcome to a brand new show on my YouTube channel, which we call The Art of Learning. This episode, we're taking a look at Warhammer 40k, a grimdark sci-fi space war series set in the far-off year of 40,000 AD. But, CheeseMasta, you know a bit about 40k, don't you?
That I do. 40k is a very expansive universe. It is the end game of nerddom. There's so much you can dive into and still not fully comprehend at the end of it. I would say I'm kind of like in the middle of that.
Oh, brilliant. Well, that's more than I am, so I consider you a subject matter expert, and if you get anything wrong, I will count that against you. Now, in order to get to know you a bit more, CheeseMasta, I've got 3 questions for you. First of all, what do you enjoy most about Warhammer?
I love the aesthetic of Warhammer. I love the gameplay. I love almost everything about it.
That's pretty comprehensive.
There's a few bits I can nitpick, but the things that I really enjoy about it is just the setting itself. I find it is one of the coolest settings, and it basically has something for everybody. You want funny orcs who are big, strong, and punch each other? You have it. Spooky skeletons that can unravel the fabric of time? You've got it. You want a totalitarian state that will send millions of its own people to die in a war? You got it.
Now, CheeseMasta, how did you originally get into Warhammer?
Mainly through the games and a very specific YouTuber called Total Biscuit, rest his soul. I used to watch his podcast, Co-optional Podcast, and he would often go on tangents about how cool Warhammer 40,000 was. Being the gamer myself, I thought I'll play some of those games and got myself invested into the lore. So it was a combination of Total Biscuit and the games that got me into Warhammer.
What are your recommended starting points for really getting into the nitty and gritty of Warhammer lore?
I would definitely just say games. They basically give you a perfect summary of what this faction is about, what kind of gear they're rocking, and if you would like it or not. The best YouTubers I would really say for lore is Luton09 and the Arts Warhammer series on the Seas of Brax and the Campaign of Badal or something like that. He is a bit of a controversial figure, but I find his lore stuff to be pretty damn good.
So, it's clear there's obviously a lot to learn, and a lot for a newcomer to take on, but my question is, how important do you think is knowing the greater lore in order to enjoy Warhammer itself?
I would say you don't actually need to know that much about Warhammer, as long as you get like the generic gist of like what's happening. That's really all you need to actually enjoy like the setting, because at the end of the day, it is just fun. It's just silly fun, but like understand why things are like that does kind of give it a bit more depth.
So, now that we've got introductions out of the way, I have journeyed to the Lexicanum, which, as far as I can tell, is a pretty reliable Warhammer 40k wiki page, and we are now here at the front page with all of these different factions, and I want you to go through each of them and just give me, a basic background and one fun fact.
Alright, that I can do. So, first things first, the Imperium, the mainstays players of the setting. It is a horrible place to live. You will be most likely living a 24/7 work shift in the most brutal conditions imaginable, and you will probably not live further than 30. There's a million different worlds and a million different problems all at the same time. And the one fun fact about it is you're either gonna die from gangs, cults, mutants, or a full-on invasion, or maybe a sneaky orc.
So essentially just living in Glasgow.
Yes. There's also a fun little planet called Birmingham, which is one of the...
planet called Birmingham.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
And it is the worst place to live in the setting, because everything in it is awful. Like I said, it's very fun. On to the next faction, Space Marines.
Oh, I've heard of these guys.
Poster clouds of the 40k setting. These are the genetically modified super soldiers of the Emperor, and if you shoot them with enough las guns, they'll eventually go down.
Okay, just give me a power scaling of strength. You know, let's take your average super soldier in fiction. Let's go with Captain America. Captain America can, like, easily bench press a car, but he'd struggle with a lorry. So, how much stronger do you think a Space Marine is to, say, Captain America?
A Space Marine is absolutely just gonna body Captain America in milliseconds, and he will probably do just fine getting rammed by a lorry. You need a super heavy tank traveling at double the speed to really cause him much more harm.
So these guys are fucking solid then.
Yes, these guys are built to withstand punishment, but they aren't invincible. They've got 1,000 chapters and 1,000 daddy issues, because they're all like offspring of the Primarch's gene seed. And each of the Primarchs have something a bit weird and awkward with them. They don't really have the greatest of relationships with some of them. And some of them have genetic deformations, so they disintegrate and or die way before they're supposed to due to defects within the gene seed. Alright, next faction, the Ashra Militarum. Millions of men, children probably, all armed with flashlights, try and take down horrific monstrosities in the far future, and they all specialise in different unique forms of warfare.
I see. So are they above or below the Space Marines in power or rank?
They are below in their power level, but they basically are the front line of the Imperium. On every planet and every response, it's the Ashra Militarum who are leading the way. Meanwhile, Space Marines are kind of just like a reactive force, if they want to or not. They're kind of just like, we can do it later, or is it in our interest to actually help these guys? If they have a 90% casualty rate, that's usually a good day for them.
Oh, fuck.
And the fun fact is, Commissar's basically the person who keeps all the guardsmen in line, usually via shooting their own troops so they don't run away. So it's like constant, not one step back, standing order.
Oh my god.
If you're seen like deserting, you're usually put on the firing line. If you talk out of place, you're getting shot. If the Commissar's shooting the enemy, then things are really bad. But to be fair, the Commissars have probably the best jet in the setting.
That's brilliant. Actually, I've got to rate this. Hang on. Warhammer Commissar.
Yes.
Oh, let's rate the drip, shall we? Okay, I see what you mean.
There are also female Commissars.
Oh, yes. Look at this gentleman here.
Yes.
Why is his moustache telling the time?
It's time to kill heretics. And there's also the Lady Commissar that has a book about her as well.
Well, sign me up for duty.
Don't worry, there's a whole faction of women with battle armor on.
Why the fuck aren't we talking about that? Let's go! Let's move on, let's go!
Aye. Mechanicum. Basically, humans who have removed all the weak flesh and replaced it with machine parts to be closer to their god, the Omnisire. They are the industrial workhorse of the Imperium. Their planets are forges of molten steel and fire, but they also hate innovation. So if you're trying to like create new technology or like modify existing technology to be slightly more advanced, they'll absolutely hate you for it and they'll usually try and kill you for that.
So it's like Nintendo sending a ninja when I try and mod my 3DS.
Exactly that, yeah. They have these vehicles called Iron Striders, which are based on the perpetual motion machine, so they are constantly running. But to actually control them, they need new people to be put on top of them, acting as like a human battery. So they're basically just running around constantly, not ever stopping.
Like a hamster in a wheel.
Yes, and if the hamster dies, you replace it with another hamster.
That's fucked up. Well, at the moment, I think the Mechanicum is my favourite, probably because it has cum in the name.
Alright, but the Mechanicum are very cool.
They are very cool, though.
Right. Now it's time for your favourite faction, the Adeptus Sororitas. Religious fanatics for the Emperor who will hold up his purity to the utmost standard. They are battle women clad in power armor,
yes.
And like minute-side bolters for them to use, and my god, they're hot.
I've decided this requires extra research. Oh no. I concur, they are quite something.
Yes, they will not sleep with you though. Their only love is for the Emperor.
I don't even need them to.
And because their love for the Emperor is so strong, they actually gain powers to help themselves in battle. And they can sometimes become saints, incarnations of angels that will come onto the battlefield and help.
Just like this, I presume.
Yes. That is Saint, might be Celestine, which is like the most popular one.
My goodness. So, Cheese, instead of a fun fact, I'm going to ask you, on a scale from nah to jar, how would you rate these minifigures?
Yeah. Detosaurus have some banging miniatures. One of the favourites is the organ artillery piece.
Whoa.
But yeah, it plays organ music and also shoots artillery from the tubes.
Fucking yo.
But yeah, it's like it nailed the aesthetic of high gothic religion.
That's so sick. We must move on before this becomes the entire video.
Yes, don't worry. The Inquisition.
Wasn't expecting that.
These are the Spanish Inquisition if they had zero chill. They try and root out any heresy no matter the cost. Usually the cost is exterminatus when you blow up the entire planet via big giant bomb, orbital bombardment until the surface is basically a wasteland. They also have a bunch of like different sects in that. They have their own very unique space marine type, the Grey Knights, which are all psychic super soldiers. Are kept secret, so if they're ever like equipped with guardsmen, those guardsmen after the fight will get somebody executed to keep their existence secret.
Quick fun fact about the Inquisition.
Inquisitor Chipman, to basically delay the Tyranids, went on a massive scorched earth campaign and killed billions upon billions of people just to slow down the Tyranids, and that was too extreme for the Inquisition.
So they have a limit.
Yes, there's a limit of how many planets exterminatus. Next faction, Adeptus Custodes. Big banana boys and the Emperor's bodyguards, the most well-equipped and highly trained force that the Imperium has to offer. They also have a massive spy network as well, and play this game where they have to sneak into the Emperor's palace and get as close to the Emperor as possible without being spotted, just to keep all the Custodes in tip-top shape to make sure that the Emperor is perfectly safe at all times.
Oh, it's like hide and seek.
Alright, next up, the Forces of Chaos.
The Chaos.
Chaos.
I can't believe they have chaos control in Warhammer 40k.
It's not Sonic, you stinky motherfucker. They are big baddies. There's demons, there's traitors, there's heretics, there's all matter of evil things in Chaos, and it all comes from the Warp. They mainly get out via the Eye of Terror, though they can also be summoned into real space. If a demon dies, basically respawns back in the warp. The only way you can kill a demon is if you actually go into the warp and kill it in there. The warp is all about human emotions, and more demons get made just by you thinking of a negative thought. So if I say Ted is a big stinky bum, there will be a
What?
Nurgling,
Hey.
Nurgling spawning.
Don't say that. What? The two concepts are inseparable. Chaos is the limitless ocean of spiritual and emotional energy that defines the warp. It is a great and raw force of change and power, and is both physically and spiritually corrupting. Some guy who wrote this really, really loves chaos. I'm just saying, I haven't seen this much glazing from a Wikipedia page in quite some time.
Warhammer fandom is definitely passionate, if not anything else.
8-pointed star of chaos. That seems like a very orderly symbol for chaos, I will say.
Well, they're more like evil, organized chaos.
Okay.
It's like, you know, like the chart, like good neutral, good lawful,
Yeah.
neutral. That's the kind of like evil, lawful.
Yeah, so it's chaos, but they do clock in 9 to 5.
Yes.
Very
They may
good.
also come in like 2 hours late because they just don't like the boss.
The iconic symbol of chaos is the 8-pointed star representing the infinite possibilities of chaos. Needs citation.
Yeah, it's not like 100%. Oh yeah, this is what DW intended. It's basically what people presume.
So this is some guy's headcanon that he's put in, and the mod's just been like, what is this?
The main thing is chaos is bad.
The iconic symbol of chaos represents the 8-pointed butthole representing my ex-wife.
Wow.
That's canon, you know.
Oh my god, I didn't know they were chaos worshippers.
The resemblance, I think, is quite getting.
Got the 4 main chaos gods. The first one's Khon, and that is basically a bloodthirsty demon who looks like Satan. His whole idea or goal is bloodshed and battle. What's for a universe that is constantly that? Ah, yes, Khon. It's quite delicious. And basically all of Khon's followers are also as bloodthirsty and basically constantly angry.
This is Nurgle, god of despair, decay, and disease.
Yeah, he's pretty horrific. As one of the artworks, a big green blob. All the models are just like guts hanging out.
Oh my goodness.
Nurgle is also one of the happiest factions in 40k because they're quite content to their set in what. They actually find it's quite beautiful in nature.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting there.
Yeah, he's killing it. Nurgle has some of like the best and worst art, whatever way you want to look at it, because it is dead disgusting looking.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Asmongold. Boom, got him. Got him. Boom. Zlanesh, chaos god of lust, greed, excess, pain, pleasure, perfection, and hedonism.
Yes.
Oh ho 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 ho. She.
What's out YouTube censor this man?
Oh my god, that's a breast. That's a breast. May I say she's Slanesh on my Warhammer till I 40k. A representation of Slanesh. Lots of tentacles. They knew what they were doing there, didn't they?
They're snakes, but it's like the deceptive nature, or it's kind of like never-ending cycle to find pleasure, to find the next excess, the next extreme. All of the next will do more and more awful things just to find another hit. You got Rage for Khon, you got Lust for Celeste, you got the Disease and Unwashed for Nurgle. And then you've got the planning and the confusing nature of each. And one fun, interesting fact about Chaos: Abaddon Armless, which is a joke on Abaddon the Despoiler, because of his well-failed Black Crusades. Black Crusades are basically supposed to be this ultimate evil, unstoppable force, which got stopped 12 times before actually being able to do anything. So everybody just calls him Abaddon the Armless.
You'd think you'd stop after 7. No, he ploughed on to 12.
Honestly, fair dues on him.
Hi folks, Ted here. What you've just watched is part 1 of what was supposed to be a much bigger video, but then I lost the other half. Always remember to back up your videos, folks. I still have the footage and the material, I just need to put it all together again, and that's going to take some time, so don't expect part 2 this coming month, maybe in the new year. Until then, I hope you've enjoyed this first half of the new show. I really enjoyed making it. It was very different from my usual thing, but I think it's something I'd like to do more often. Also, thank you so much for 600 subscribers. We shot past 500 in not a lot of time, and I've been reeling, quite honestly. So yes, thank you to everyone who subscribed, and thank you very much to my patrons as well. They help make this possible. Until then, I'll see you next time, folks. The Majora's Mask video is on the way.